You can't just get rich one day or get blessed overnight and then expect to sit there like, oh yeah, I'm good now. Even if you come into this money, if you don't have the right mindset, you're gonna lose the money every single time. What's up, y'all? My name is Gabby. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Over here we talk about spirituality, self-improvement, and life talks, and today we are talking about money, honey. Okay. And about money, we are talking about the money habits and the money mindsets that are keeping people's financial foundation weak. So if you ask my mama, she will say that we were not poor, but we lived in the hood. Okay? And if at any point in your life you lived in the hood, you were on any type of government assistance like Section 8 housing, EBT, your family felt like y'all needed it or y'all wanted to buy them off people or whatever, you probably were living in poverty or like really close. In today's society, people are way more open now about saying that they are living in poverty and saying that they are poor. That wasn't the case back then, but I had to let her know, like, Ma, come on. Come on, why are you playing? But with that said, I didn't know anything about a money mindset, a poor mindset at that when it came to money until about 2 years ago in 2021. And last year, 2022, is really when I started to learn even more about it and when I dove in. So when I made my vision board, a part of my vision board was to learn more about money just in general, how it works, how to move it, how to invest it, what to do with it when you come into a lot of money mindset and all of that stuff. The financial area is an area that I was very weak in, and I still am learning. I am by any means no accountant or anything like that, but what I have noticed is that there isn't a lot of information out there about having a poor mindset and what that really looks like or consists of, other than what a lot of people talk about these days, which is lack mindset. So the mindsets that I'm going to speak of are ones that I've noticed or I've dealt with or experienced or seen in some way that I have named. Now, they might actually have real legitimate terms in real life, but these are ones that I just made up because they make sense in my head, and I know they'll make sense for you too. I fully believe that if we want what God has for us and we want to walk into the life of abundance that He has for us, we are either not going to if we don't learn how to properly manage money and learn about it, or if we do still walk into it and He gives us that, you know, because He is so gracious, that we are going to lose it because we don't know enough about how our mind works. So many of the things that we do goes back to our minds and the way we think about stuff. So this is very important that we know, especially if you really want to level up in life and get to where you know you are meant to be and where you want to be financially. And I want to say this as a disclaimer too. Now, most of these mindsets that I talk about, they are good to have at least a little bit, like to have in your back pocket to be able to pull out and use when necessary. But when you live your life in these mindsets, that's when it can become detrimental and it's more harmful to you than it is helpful. The first one is the cheap mindset. This is when you just got to pick the cheapest option by any means. Like if you're in a grocery store, you're gonna pick the bread that's 50 cents cheaper. If you're looking at lotions, you're gonna pick the lotion that's $2 cheaper. That costs. You are that person who's gonna drive 20 or 30 extra minutes to get the gas that's 3 cents cheaper. And mind you, I realize that there are some times when we're in a season of life where we really cannot afford it, and you really do have to pick what works best for you and truly what you can afford. But what I realize is that some people that even have the money, they still take the cheapest route. What I also realized about being cheap is that that's just how you operate. If you are a person who operates in a cheap, poor mindset, even if you come into a great amount of money, if God blesses you with a great amount of money tomorrow, legit money, you're not going to spend money any differently than you do. You're not going to get that higher quality item, even if it's only a couple of dollars more. It's good to be able to scope out a deal, but buying something for the lowest amount is not always the best quality. Are you going to buy that $1 packing tape, or are you going to buy the $3 packing tape that you know all you need is one strip? You don't need to use the $1 strip to go I call this next one vicious cycle poor. This is when you're on a roller coaster with your money. One moment you're up, then you're down, then you're up, then you're down, then you're up, then you're down. You're the type of person that when you come into money, you're up and you're good, life is good. But then things start happening, or you start spending too much, or you got to make a big purchase out of nowhere, and then you find yourself all the way down again, and you struggling, you in the mud. Then you do what you have to do, or you come into a blessing, and then you're up again, and it's the same cycle, and you're right back down. That's what I call a vicious cycle poor. And when you operate like this, it is a true sign, should be to yourself, and it truly is to everybody else, that you're not good with money, because you have to learn how to let that money glide you all the way across, you know, so that you're always sustained. When you're up and down in your finances, whereas every few months or every few years, it really makes you look volatile, like you don't know what you're doing because you don't know what you're doing. And you're really going to have to set up a system and figure out what you're thinking about yourself and how you think about money to really end this cycle. The next one I call tight-fisted poor, and I would say this is the number one I have dealt with in my life for so long. And tight-fisted poor is whether you have money or not, like you cling onto it so strong, you do not want to spend it. When I was in college, I didn't have a lot of money, and even when I graduated and I did start to get more money, I really didn't change the way I was spending, and I really wouldn't spend at all. When it came to shopping and things like that, if I was with family or if I was with a friend and we were shopping, I would leave my wallets in the car. If I was going somewhere, I knew, Gabby, we are not spending money today, so even if you see something cute, you know you're not gonna go back to the car to get your wallet. So that's what we're gonna do. And I would do stuff like that to help me not spend money, because I was not trying to spend. Or even if I did spend something, I would like find a reason that I didn't like it after I already purchased it, and I would take it back. And that was just so I could keep my money. Coming up, my mama made sure we looked good. We weren't just like rags, you know, we looked good, and my mama put time into us in that way, and money. When I got my first job, I knew I wanted to keep what I had, because I didn't like not having money. Because a lot of times when I was young, I was that kid who didn't have money to go to the movies with my friends, who, if we had a cab together, I didn't have money to put toward the cab. I was constantly that friend, like I was constantly that cousin who didn't have money. I never had money. So once I came into money, I always wanted to make sure I had it, and I always used to keep it. I know a good amount of y'all probably have seen my ATL video, and the money and my mindset around money was the biggest lesson that I learned from that experience. I learned so many lessons because of that, and God was really dealing with me because I was so devastated after what happened to me. But I really had to realize, Gabby, money comes and goes. You're not given this money, you're not blessed with this money just to not spend it or just to let it sit. You lost your money, and now you're just going to have to earn it back. You know what I'm saying? So being that type of person that just never wants to spend money and you always want to hold on to it, how is God going to continue to give you more or bless you when what he's giving you already, you're not wanting to spend it or do anything with it? But if you want to allow those blessings to come in, that mindset, you got to work on it, and it has to go. This next mindset I call by association poor. Now, you know they have that saying, birds of the same feather flock together. It's kind of the same concept. If you hang around people that have certain type of mindsets or with their money or do certain things, to some extent you're going to do those same things too. For example, if you have friends that want to go out, like out to eat or out for a night, y'all go out to eat and they like, oh, let's go half on this, let's get that, I'm about to get a drink, you get a drink too. They're basically spending money the way they spend money, and it's causing you to spend money too. And then you sitting there looking at the check like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm about to spend this right now. You spending money by association. I have been out to eat with people who don't like the tip, and that's so aggravating to me, because first of all, if the waitress or the waiter did a good job, like they deserve to get that tip. And two, if that other person doesn't tip, it puts more pressure on me to tip. That's what I used to feel like, but now I just tip based off what I want to tip. But being around somebody that is like that, that could either make you pull back and not give what you have wanted to give, or you could just end up not giving something at all, and then you could kind of be slowly fall into the same realm of being stingy with your money. Just because you're around this person or you're out to eat with this person who you know is not going to tip, not because they don't have it, just because they don't want to. And this kind of flows in with the next one that I just hit on, stingy poor. If you're the type of person who are just stingy, like you never want to spend money, you never want to bless nobody, you never want to give money to a good cause or anything like that, you just want to keep everything to yourself, that is the type of mindset that will not get you anywhere either, because what you put out, you get back, and that includes money too. So you're truly blocking your blessings if you're one of those people who don't ever want to put out and donate. You ever see when you go to a restaurant or you go to a store and you go shopping, they ask, would you like to donate to the da 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 da? If you're always a person who says no to that, you don't give to homeless people, needy people, or your cousin or your mama, you don't give nobody nothing, I'm telling you, more money is not going to come your way. Not the way you think it is or not the way you want it is. Because why should people continue to give to you? Why should people bless you if you're not doing that for anybody else in this entire world? You're going to get what you put out. You keeping your money to yourself, people going to feel that energy. They might not know exactly why, but if they feel it on their spirit not to give, they're just not going to give. The stingy mindset has to go, especially if you're talking about you want to walk into your abundance. How you going to walk into your abundance and you're stingy? Make it make sense. Like, it's stingy and abundant shouldn't even be in the same sentence. If that's you, you really gonna have to work on that, truly. And in there, you're gonna have to work on your heart and some inner things too, because stinginess is something that is probably some sort of trauma response based off something that you've been through in your life, and you'll really have to work through that to get over that. This next one, sadly, I'm sure some of us know people like this. I would call this one government assistance poor. This is the type of person who relies on government assistance, and this can be at different levels. So I used to work for DSHS, the Department of Social and Health Services, and I have seen a lot. There would be people who literally would make sure that they did not work over a certain amount of hours to get a certain amount of income because they wanted to keep their food stamp. When you do that to yourself, you are keeping yourself in a box. You are literally choosing not to allow more money into your life because you want these benefits. Granted, I understand, I have been on food stamps before. I know what that feels like and how helpful that is, but at that point you're relying on what the government can give you. There are people who continue to have babies so that they can continue to get these benefits and these resources. There are people who lie. There would be people who, because we had a system where we could look up income, but only for certain companies. It depends which companies paid into the program, but we could see their income, and they would sit there and lie to me and be like, no, I don't have a job. And I can sit here and see that they've been working at this place for 3 months, making way over the income. Look, and working at this job, God really worked with my heart to help me not be judgmental against people and like really think, because I'm like, you know, these people must really feel like they need help, or they really do need help. And in the end, like, something like that hurt them because they never knew when we could see the income or not. The last however many months of food stamps they just got, they're about to get an overpayment and they're gonna have to pay all that money back. That's a whole setback. You know, you never know when that type of stuff is gonna come back on you. Even people who are not on benefits, who don't qualify, still feel like, especially in this economy, that they need help. They'll be out here, who got the food stamps? Who trying to let me buy some food stamps? Like, for you to be in that mindset to continually want to use these benefits to help you, like, you're thinking wrong. You're thinking wrong. You're thinking like, man, I need some food stamps to help me get some food. But you need to be thinking, what can I do to create some passive income? What can I do to get some more money flowing? What can I do to make sure that I'm a little more comfortable financially with providing for myself and or for my family? But no, instead of thinking like that, people are thinking like, how can I get this program even though I don't qualify? How can I buy these benefits off of somebody else? You know what I'm saying? To really think like that, you're holding yourself back. Some people stay in a certain job or a certain income because they want Section 8 housing. There are some people who make sure they stay within a certain realm of income so that they can get this $0 rent, $100 rent, whatever it is. I mean, hey, it's hard out here. I get that. But if you're talking about you trying to take off, if you're talking about you trying to get what God has for you, that's gonna take a lot, because that's really deep rooted. That government assistant mindset is really deep rooted. It goes back generations. I had this girl come in and apply for benefits one time with her baby daddy. They had like a 1 or 2 month old baby, and they were 16, and she was telling me how she already knew that she was gonna apply for food stamps once she had got pregnant, and her baby daddy with the car seat took a city bus to get there. Like, no man, that all of that stuff is just generational, and at some point it has to stop, especially if you want more in your life and you really want to not even consider these type of things being an option for you. The next one, frivolous spending. This is the person who just love to spend money, honey. Anybody want to go shopping, you down. They want to go out to eat, you down. They want to go to a street fair, you down. You're just down to spend money. You're in Walmart because you went to go get this thing, and then you see this whole big $80 thing. You like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I'm about to buy that. Or, oh, this little $5 thing, like, I think I need that. You that type of person who will spend money and you're not tracking what you spend. You'll buy something and forgot that you bought it. I don't know how people do that, but people really do that. They have so many new things just packed in their closet. They have things sitting in their car, so many things with wrappers, still in packages, all that stuff. You just like to spend money. And these type of people, it doesn't matter if you're down or if you're up. When you have this mindset, you spend like this whether you have money or not. But when you don't have money, you just constantly find yourself in a bind. Wait until your next check or wait until your next come up, and then you just spend again. And you might think this might be okay to have this sort of mindset when you get money. Like, I know some people feel like, oh, I can't wait till I come into my money because I'm gonna just buy everything I want. You just gotta think about that. It's that same mindset. Just because you have money, spending like this is not okay. For one, it's wasteful. It's wasteful. You're wasting money. And some people I know, they just have an urge to spend. Like, it's just in there. I feel like spending some money today. Let me tell you, if you feel like that, at least put it towards a good cause. Bless one of your friends. Bless somebody in your family. If you don't have anybody that you're close to, any friends or family to bless, go bless somebody out there in them streets, in the world. I promise you that will feel so much better than you spending random money on something at Ulta or Sephora, at the mall, or online, when you just bless somebody. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't be giving those homeless people some money because they're just gonna spend it on alcohol, they're just gonna spend it on beer. If that's what they spending on, why you pressed about what they're gonna spend it on? They're homeless and you really don't know what they're gonna spend it on. How could you just try to guess what somebody gonna spend their money on? Maybe they really are hungry and they just want to go down the street and buy a cheeseburger. You just really don't know. The next mindset, which is what I call not saving or investing poor. This is when you don't put forth towards your future at all. Now, back in the day, people thrived and lived and depended on Social Security. Today they say that money is dwindling away, and if I'm being honest, the amount of money they give you is really not even a lot. When I was working with DSHS and I saw those older people coming in there to apply for benefits, I mean, they weren't getting paid that much. $800, $900, $1,200 a month, and that might seem like a lot, but if that's all you're getting and your rent is $1,000, come on. There were old people that would come apply, and they were renting out people's basements. They were renting out rooms. They were living with their children or family because they really couldn't afford anything. All they had was that one check coming in, and if some of them decided to go back to work because they felt like they were physically capable of going to work, honey, Social Security would come back in there and snatch all that money right back out their check. Oh, you working? Oh, that's what you made? Okay, well, we about to take that, we about to tax you and take that money right back. That's how those people do. That's what I was kind of saying with the last mindset. If you have all this money and you still don't put it where you should, if you're not thinking about your future self, you hurting yourself. Put money in, invest it. This is something that I'm still learning about, and I realize how important it is now. You cannot rely on Social Security because it's really not a lot of money. That check should be just extra income for you, not the only sole thing that you rely on. You really got to get you some type of investment account that you can put money in. Even if you're not there financially to start that right now, at least just have it on your mind. Just at least write it down to know that at some point you're going to get you one. Put you a little $10 in there every month, or whatever you can. Regardless of what you have right now, if you're not thinking about your future self, what you have right now doesn't even matter. Imagine being 20, 30, 40 years in the future and being like, oh man, I had this, I had that, I was always buying this and that. And then you look at your bank account and what you got right now? Nothing. Nothing. The next one I got for you is what I call needy poor. This is somebody who always kind of, either they know for a fact or they just have this thought or knowing that somebody is going to help them out, or that they have somebody to rely on and depend on. This is somebody who always knows that there is at least one person that will come through for them. Oh, I know my daddy gonna do it. My bestie, she always come through and help me when I need it. I got me a support system. Don't get me wrong, it's really good to have a support system. It is a blessing. So many people do not have that would give so much to be able to have somebody to support them, even just one person. But if you are that person who always knows that if you fall into something, and these somethings probably come up more often than they should, that you have somebody, you doing something wrong. If you are that type of female who are looking for a man to take care of you, who are feeling like, I need a man that makes more than me, or I need my man to do A, B, C, and D for me. You got to think about, what can you do for yourself? What if one day these people get tired of you? What if one day these people just for whatever reason are no longer in your life? What are you going to do? You probably just want to find your way to somebody else who can fill in that space. You have to learn how to start doing things for yourself and find ways to bring more money in. Now, I'm not saying you got to have a business or anything like that, because that's just not for some people. But whatever that may be for you, you got to step it up for yourself. Start taking classes or courses. Go back to school slowly but surely. Like, do something to build yourself up to make sure that you can account for yourself. These people be relying on these other people, borrowing from over here and borrowing from over there, when you really need to be looking out for yourself and doing for you. Because as long as you remain in that position where you're looking back and falling on somebody to help you with money, baby, you're not going far. You're not going far. You're not going far, because if you're not relying on God to fulfill those needs, God is not going to step in. Because he like, oh yeah, she keep asking him over there. He keep calling up this person every time. They don't need me, they ain't asking me. So, you know, they seem to got it down. You know, and at the end of the day, I know God has everything in a big pot for me. That's what he said. That's what the word says. We all have an abundant life set aside just for us. But we're holding ourselves back from that. We're blocking all those blessings for all of these mindsets. They all can come in handy in some kind of way, but only for a time, only for a season. When you find your way working in these mindsets, almost every time you spend money or you're around certain people, you have work to do mentally and spiritually to be able to get where you're going. God wants to give to us. He wants us to be full in every way, financially too. You gotta understand, even if you come into this money, if you don't have the right mindset, you're gonna lose the money every single time. You're gonna lose it every single time. Do you ever think about those people who win the lottery? I used to always wonder when I was young, how could you win multiple millions of dollars and 5 years down the road be broke? That's because these people don't know how to manage money. They don't know what they're doing. You can't just get rich one day or get blessed overnight and then expect to sit there like, oh yeah, I'm good now. And that's how I used to think. Oh, if I get this certain type of income, if I get this certain type of job, I'm good. I'm shmoney. I'm shmoney, honey. But that's not how it works though. That's not how it works though. You gotta know what you're doing with that money. You gotta know how to move with that money. You gotta have the right spiritual heart about that money, or you're gonna lose it every time and you're just gonna be broke for the rest of your life. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to be abundant, and I'm trying to be abundant for the rest of my life. I'm not trying to lose the blessing that God sent in my lap. And you know what? That could be another thing. That could be possibly why God hasn't answered your call yet. That could be why God hasn't answered your blessing yet, because you're asking him for something that you don't even know how to manage, that you're gonna lose. Why should God give you all of these grand things that you asking for and you don't even know how to manage them yet? It started here. You got to get your mind right. You got to get your spirit right. I hope this video was a good start. If there's any other mindsets that you're aware of or that you've seen, let your girl know, because I'm trying to get my mind right, okay? I'm trying to get my money right, okay? That's it for this one. And until next time, I love y'all. Peace and love. I'm out.